Hello everybody out there in the video world. This is Dan with another movie review for you. This time it's Saban's Power Rangers. It's rated PG-13 for violence and some language. It did number 2 at the box office opening weekend. This movie is a reboot of a TV series beginning in 1993 till the present, and 2 movies that came out in 95 and 97. 5 main characters, the Power Rangers, if you will, before I get into the story, are relatively unknown. Becky G, who plays the Yellow Ranger, is probably the one you're most familiar with, depending on what you've watched at the movies. Other main celebrities in this movie: Elizabeth Banks plays the evil Rita Repulsa. Bryan Cranston plays Zordon, which is like the mythical leader of the Power Rangers. And then Bill Hader, who actually plays the robot Alpha 5. The Power Rangers story itself is about 5 high school kids who stumble on superpowers, and they use these powers to save the world. In this reboot, they are playing high school students anywhere from a star football player to a cheerleader to a person with autism to a outcast, and it did not work for me. If you've never seen Power Rangers before, you may actually like it just because of the theatricality of it all. The Zords looked pretty interesting, but I have been a fan of the Power Rangers since '93, since they first came out. I know a lot about the Power Rangers, and they mixed up stories. I don't mind a reboot. Reboot's okay if it works, if you're not going to change a whole lot. If you stay with the premise of the story, they change too much every time. I'm sitting there watching the movie yesterday, and they changed so much. The power coins have nothing to do with the Zeo crystals. 2 different sets of Rangers. The same Rangers in this movie had nothing to do with the Zeo crystals, and Rita Repulsa was not a creature hence on building Goldar, who was an assistant of hers in the TV series and movies. Goldar is actually a winged man with a face, I'd say, of a monster. Okay, but he plays a stupid character in the movie or in the TV series, and he wasn't a character in the movie. He was a big monster, and it's just so much wrong with this movie, people, that if you're a Power Rangers fan, I don't know how you could like it. The putties, for example, the putties were rock. They were just rocks. That's all they were. In the TV series, they were literally putties. They were literally like Play-Doh created from the ground in actual look like human beings. They weren't monsters. They weren't stupid rock monsters. I was not a fan of the movie. I'm sorry, I just wasn't. Like I said, if you're not familiar with Power Rangers and you want to reboot, then you may have liked this movie. The kids probably like this movie. For somebody like myself, who's a fan, who has watched every series, watched the movies, read about them, this just didn't do it for me. There was no need for a reboot. Right now, there's Power Rangers Ninja Steel, and it was just fine. So I'm thumbs down. I am agreeing with Rotten Tomatoes that this is a bad movie. It didn't need to be made, and that's my opinion. Go to the movies. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time at the movies.